Leon Czolgosz was a Polish American laborer, an anarchist and a factory worker who primarily worked in industrial-related jobs. He was originally from Detroit, Michigan, though he had a family background of his parents who were immigrants from Poland. He and his family were poor. He spent most of his time working in factories in harsh conditions in Cleveland, Ohio, and much of the Midwest area. His frustration on unfair treatment from government and his struggles to keep feeding his family led him to become an anarchist as the anarchist movement was on the rise in America. Leon Czolgosz was more than just an anarchist. He was also a vile madman consumed with pure evilness inside of him. When the anarchy movement was on the rise during William McKinley's presidency, President McKinley was very concerned about public due to so much chaos, violence and misconduct. He saw anarchism posed a threat to public safety and had to implement more security and protections to reduce deadly violence. Czolgosz, on the other hand, saw President McKinley an emblem of government, a capitalist, and as being unjust to poor people working industries in harsh conditions. As pure evilness and frustration grew upon him, he had been thinking that maybe someday he would however kill President McKinley so he could overthrow the government. On a hot day of September 6, 1901, President McKinley attended a very big event called the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York. The place was very crowded with over 50,000 guests being excited about meeting President McKinley in person. President McKinley was happy and wanted to shake hands with as many guests as quickly as he could to keep the line going. As Czolgosz arrived at the Pan American Exposition event and saw President McKinley handshaking the guests, he had a revolver to plan to shoot President McKinley. He wrapped his revolver with the white handkerchief as he approached President McKinley. When Czolgosz stepped toward President McKinley for a handshake, he reached out his hand with a revolver hidden inside the white handkerchief, and began shooting him twice in the abdomen at a very close range. President McKinley collapsed to the floor after he got shot. After shooting President McKinley, Czolgosz was overpowered by the crowds and didn't have much time to run away scot-free. Then the policeman came to arrest him and took him away. After the shooting incident, President McKinley was rushed to have surgical operation to have his gunshot wounds to be treated. The doctors were able to remove one bullet from his abdomen but couldn't find the other bullet inside. President McKinley appeared to be recovered, but it turned out for the worse. On September 12, 1901, his abdomen became more badly infected, but there were no antibiotics at that time being. Doctors were unable to control it. The next day, on September 13, 1901, President William McKinley slipped into unconsciousness and passed away as the nation mourned for the loss of their 25th U.S. president. He was the third president to be assassinated while in office after Abraham Lincoln and James Garfield. On September 23, 1901, nearly 2 weeks after President McKinley's death, Czolgosz was put on trial and charged with first-degree murder. It was a quick trial. Then the next day, on September 24, 1901, he was found guilty and was sentenced to death. Over a month later, after his conviction on October 29, 1901, Leon Czolgosz was executed by an electric chair at the Auburn prison in Auburn, New York. He was only 28 years old. William McKinley's assassination had made a turning point in history to where more security, public safety were needed to be taken seriously, since there were 3 U.S. presidents being assassinated so quickly over the past nearly 40 years. There are a lot of places that can be dangerous, especially when presidents, leaders and other celebrities meet the crowds. This is why Secret Service agents, securities, bodyguards and protection shields were to be implemented to protect and to keep furthermore US presidents from being assassinated. In other words, stronger and better protection equipment and public safety were made to prevent any more assassinations. Thank you for watching and learning.